Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in this world. My name's Jade, and this is The Rant. And today, we are going to be discussing the grind. Delicious grind. Oh yeah, baby. So, yo, what's going on? I'm Jade. This is The Rant, and I hope you're doing okay. I'm clicking the wrong button. There it is. Ooh. Hello, it's the start of a brand new week, and that's good because it means that there's lots of stuff going on, and the grind continues here on this channel, and I'm sure on many of your channels and in your life, because the grind is real, and the grind is a thing, and the grind is how do you sort through it? What is the grind? We'll get to it. Just some housekeeping. You're probably going, what's going on if you're in the UK? Why is this earlier? Because the clocks have changed across Europe and the UK, so we have a different time zone, all that stuff. It's daylight saving clock switch and all that stuff. Next week, the US clocks change, and everybody goes, they get an extra hour. And that's the way it rolls. So we may be seeing a few more people from Europe in here as time goes on because it's earlier going forward for the summer for me and for the cold winter for you that you're creeping into. Good times. We love it. Also today, we've got two shows happening, not back-to-back, because Pete Johns has gone away on a secret location. He's gone on a secret trip, and he forgot to put his show up. So I organised two shows to fill the void, and then Pete put his show up, and then I've had to put mine back. And the grind, you got to be flexible and be able to move around and do all this kind of stuff to keep the show flow and all that kind of stuff. And I've got a lot of apps to cover this week, so I was going to do two shows. I'm still doing two shows. So the way it's going to work is we're going to do this for another, we got 50 odd minutes of this, whatever this is. And then Pete Johns has got a premiere for half an hour, and then I'll be back taking a look at a Rob Jackson app called AU Delay. And that is happening today. So we've got two shows. Good times. Because the grind is very real, and it never ends. It's relentless. Okay, we've got a poll happening as well too, if you're interested in that, talking about the grind. So there's a poll happening. What would you like to see more of on this channel? Would you like to see interviews, walk with me, behind the scenes, or music creation? You tell me. I'll tally the votes up at the end of the show, and we'll talk about that and all that jazz, because the grind is real. That's my saying for today. Thomas Christ is in the house, the most overworked, he's overappreciated by me. Well, maybe not. I could appreciate him a bit more. We could always appreciate Thomas a bit more by getting along to his shows. Yeah? Puts in a lot of hard work. G'day, Thomas. Brad, example, he's been sick. Poor little Brad. Hopefully he's feeling a little bit better. He's got a little tummy ache. Dave Bobs, hello to you. Joe Glenn, not doing well either. She's got a cough as well. Everyone's sick, man. So hello, Joe. Who else do we see? Oh, yeah, you can do all these things. These things help. They help the channel. Super chats, super stickers, these little shows where I talk and get no money for whatever. YouTube's fun at the moment. Patreon. We had some new patrons, so thank you for joining the Patreon. We had some new patrons win some prizes on the weekend, and I love that. That's super cool. Love giving you guys prizes for supporting me. Also become a member. We got our members stream that happens every week and stuff. Jerry Gomes just got a new song mastered yesterday. Forest of the Wolf, hello. Auntie G, what's going on, Auntie G? The clocks have changed. Auntie G's in the house. Talking of the grind, she's actually on my list of people to talk about today, because Auntie G, I'll come back to Auntie G, she is a grinder, right? A grinder, absolutely. That sounds dirty, doesn't it? Auntie G, the grinder. She's grinding away. You can't see my hips pumping right now. Thank God for that. Ali, she's in the house. Hugh Caldwell, hello. Fat Panda Cat, hi. Hi, everyone, says Fat Panda Cat. Hello to you, Fat Panda Cat. Tremor Bear, happy Sunday Monday, absolutely. Good to see you, Bear. Bear, and another song with the Wolfstone Studio that I mastered yesterday. Mwah, Chef's Kiss. Chef's Kiss. Beautiful stuff. The Grind. Bear grinds away too. He's a grinder. Barry Glenn. Barry Glenn's a grinder. You should see him on the dance floor. He's a party animal, Barry Glenn. You are a grinder. I'll start with that. Oh, let's talk about this wonderful artist here, Auntie G. She's a grinder. And I mean by that, so when I talk about the grind, we're covering a bunch of things today with the grind, because the grind is what I describe it is the stuff that you do behind the scenes, not in front of the camera, not in, all that stuff. This is the easy part. So I'll be talking about YouTube and making music. So all the kind of things. This covers a lot of things, small business, whatever it is, right? This is the easy bit, getting up here, sitting in front of a camera and being a tosser like me, right? Easy peasy. I can do this all day long. I could sit up here for hours being a dickhead. It's very easy to do. Dell Music agrees by saying, hello, everybody. But it's the stuff you do behind the scenes. That is the stuff. That's the grind to me. That's the really hard stuff and it's the thankless stuff too, right? You don't have people going, yay, here's a super chat for all those emails you got done last night. It's thankless. It's cold. It's lonely. And the hours tick by very fast. Like you think about, hang on, the hours go by very slow with the grind. Jamie Lynn, hello to you as well. Let me put your name up. Kiss, hug, kiss, hug, kiss, hug. See this, right? I can sit here and go, hello, everybody. I can dance monkey and do that stuff in front of the camera. And sometimes somebody will give a super chat or a super sticker or a donation and say, hey, great job. We love what you do. And you get that instant feedback. It's like, wow, it's addictive, this stuff. It's, you can sit here and entertain. I'm an entertainer. I've been doing it my whole life. So it's just, as soon as the light goes on, it's like, boom, we're happening. We're off. And you can make mistakes and be a fool and diss yourself and hopefully impress people. And there's so many things you can do in front of a camera. Exactly. I'm a bear on a hot plate, Dave Bops. Dancing around with my poor little hot paws. Right? But when the camera goes off, that's the thankless stuff. That's the stuff where you're sitting there in the dark. This is how I work in my studio, in the dark. It's very lonely. And I've normally got some music playing in the background, or I'm in Clubhouse and I've got Russ calling me an absolute right? Or we got, I'll normally have, like last night I was working, setting up the week's shows. Hugh Caldwell. Look at this guy. He's sexy. Last night I was doing the grind, setting up all the shows for the week and sending out codes that people had won on the Patreon, sending out 3 songs that I mastered for people. I had to go listen to them and make sure they were the right levels and do all that kind of stuff. Then I had to sit here and get all the shows, do all the thumbnails, do all the descriptions, go search for all the links, for all the app codes and all that stuff, send emails out for interviews that are coming up, all this stuff. And then before you know it, well, not before you know it, because you look at the time and go, hey, I started this at 6 p.m. and it's now 10 p.m. and I haven't eaten any food yet. Wow, 4 hours? Man, like that, and that's the grind. That's the thankless stuff that you do that makes everything come off really well. It's really important stuff too. But is it stuff that you need to do on a live stream to show people? Like, do I need to sit here and show you that? I don't think so. See, you don't want to watch me do my taxes, do you? Right? Nobody wants to do their taxes, so you especially don't want to come to my show and watch me sit there doing my taxes and go, hey, everybody, I thought I'd help you all out by showing you how I do my taxes. And you don't, a lot of the time, you wouldn't want to see me sitting here sending out emails to people because it's boring. It's the administrative stuff that sucks. Even thumbnails, like it becomes like a bit of a wheels in motion. And why I bring up Auntie G, I'm getting there. See? The circular brain. It comes back eventually, Auntie G. Auntie G is one of these artists who I've interviewed, and she's a fabulous musician, like unbelievable singer, right? She's gone from, when I met her, she's country, more of a country singer, right? And just amazing talent. And then she always puts out these like short videos of her walking around and singing along and talk, and she has a little talk and says, how are you feeling out there? You're doing good. It's winter here. She lets you know how she's going, and then she'll have a little sing at the end, right? And you see that and just go, oh, wow, that little video. But you got to remember, that's a part of your day that you've got to go out, find a place to shoot, set up some cameras, go and do all this stuff, and then get home and edit it and put up. So there's minutes and sometimes hours behind all of that stuff. It's just not magic and doesn't appear. And so it's a grind. It's the hard work that you've got to do, and you've got to be consistent and keep that stuff up. And sometimes it's thankless too, because you do all of that and then you go, geez, nobody watched that. What's going on? And that brings me to saying hello to Shelley. Hi, Shelley. And hello to JDL. Right? JDL's another hardworking, all of you are hardworking. I'm not just singling out Auntie G and saying none of you are hardworking. It's important to talk about this stuff because it is the thankless stuff, yeah? And Auntie G, why I'm coming back to her, is because she came on my show, I interviewed her, she's releasing music, and she teams up with Marcus Cannell, and they start their, like the odd couple come together, the thrashy guitarist with the country singer, and these two are like meeting up and doing gigs together. And once you get into live gigs, the grind, let me tell you about that grind. That's a completely different grind. Not only are you contacting people to book shows, try and get a show, try and get some money, try and strike a deal where you might actually walk away with $10. Right? Then you've got to organize flights, right? Travel, all this stuff, hotel rooms, all this kind of shit, just to get together to do a fucking show. All the thankless stuff that nobody's sitting there while you're boarding an aeroplane going, oh shit, I hope I can afford all this stuff and I'm going to get paid $5 for my little show that I'm doing. Nobody's sitting there on the sidelines going, rah, 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 go Auntie G. Nobody. It's just you, and you're hoping this stuff comes off. But it's important because you get to the show, you come off with the show, you do it no matter what you get paid, and it all happens. But again, it's so much work, and I know because I used to play a lot of gigs, and sometimes it's very thankless, especially when you put in all of this work, you put in so much work, travel, organizing flyers, advertising, doing promos, all this stuff, emails back and forward. And then you go and do the show and 5 people turn up and you go, oh, man. It's tough. And it's bloody tough out there, right? And nobody's there cheering you along. I saw somebody else. Leila is in the house. I can't find it. There, I got her comment. I found it. I got Leila's comment. Gary Harbs is in the house too, and he's just finished his brand new song too. And I mastered that yesterday, so get ready for some Gary Harbs. That's coming your way. It's going to kick you in the teeth, and you're going to love it, aren't you? Thankless stuff, the grind. So again, just to close off on Auntie G, trust me, you don't go unnoticed by me, all right? I see it. I see all the work on TikTok. You put all these videos up. And I feel your pain. Well, not pain, because it's not painful, right? You got to love it. You really have to love it, right? Not so much doing the taxes. But I'll tell you what, sometimes there's a place to show the background of that stuff. Sometimes, like say, Auntie G's going to, poor Auntie G, she's come in here, she's like, get off, leave me alone. You're making me the star of the show. What's going on? But sometimes it's good to show those videos too. Oh, hey, I'm at the airport and I'm heading to go meet Marcus Cannell and we're going to go play a gig. There's some backstage stuff that you can show that works and tells a story, because sometimes you can interweave the grind into the whole event or the thing that you're planning and the thing that you're going to do. And that's really interesting. Again, you wouldn't like, Auntie G's not going to sit there and go, you know what? I'm going to book this gig with Marcus Canal and I'm going to post a TikTok of me sitting there typing an email to the promoter with her music in the background, and she's typing an email saying, I can't wait to do the gig, and then she breaks into song at the end. That wouldn't work. So not all things behind the scenes and around the grind need to be revealed. Sometimes it's best to keep the deep, dark secrets of the grind to yourself, right? Well, and this is it. Auntie G says, you're very kind. It's true, I love doing this, and that's the whole reason for doing it. But that's it, you know. You've got no choice, isn't it? That's the thing. We can sit here and say, well, can't we just skip the grind? No, you can't. Now, I can tell you, I'll give you an example of something I'm currently doing, which I don't tell you guys too much, right? So me and Liz Day recently dropped a song together. We did our first song. And she made the video clip, and I haven't released it on streaming services yet, right? Because we're going to submit it for the Music for Life album. But it's available on her Bandcamp only. So that's the only place you can get it, because I want her to make some money for it, because she did a lot of work for that. And I've been in the spotlight. I don't need it. I have this every day where I get to talk to you guys and hang out and be a tosser on the internet. But behind the scenes, I've been reaching out to, doing a lot of work, reaching out to a couple of television shows, some big radio shows here in Australia. We've already had some airplay here in Australia on one of the big radio stations called 3RRR. It's a Melbourne radio station, but one of the biggest alternative stations, and we got our new song on the radio, right? But that took a lot of work and a lot of licking people's asses in emails. The grind, right? And it's the thankless stuff. And again, I don't need to come on here and sit here and go, hey, everybody, we got this song happening. It's on the radio. It was a big deal for me. I sat up and listened to it, and it got played, and I was like, yeah. But I know how much work went into that. And it was like 3 minutes of joy for probably about 2 to 3 days of solid work, trying to get it to that place, trying to sift through the murky networks of gatekeepers in the music industry, trying to stop you at every place to get you just one song heard on a fucking radio station, right? But it worked, and I got that little 3 minutes. It was like, chef's kiss. Thank you very much. Very happy that happened. But it couldn't have happened without the grind. And also, as I was saying, there's a big television show here in Australia called Rage. It's one of the biggest kind of MTV radio stations. This is commercial, not commercial, it's our Australian ABC, Australian Broadcasting Network. They have this show called Rage, and I submitted the video clip, and it got accepted. So that's something I'll let you, but I'll tell you what, this wasn't just send an email, right? It wasn't just find an email address, send this off. This was like, oh man, the amount of work and people I had to go through and get somebody to help me get here. And this is so much work to get to this point. Kentucky knob dicker. God, you people. I love it. This is the thing, right? You don't need to tell this stuff. You don't need to talk about it, but because that's the hard yards. That's the stuff you got to get to. And yeah, you would have heard of Rage because that's me, is it? I'm a Kentucky knob dicker. Wow. So nice of you. Probably Rant. Who knows? But it takes a lot of work to get to that point. And then, it's, again, when it gets played, when it's eventually going to get played on that show, you're going to sit here for 3 minutes and go, that was good, wasn't it? Man, the amount of work that went into that. Cheers, JDL. Thank you so much. Look who it is. There's a sighting in the wild of Peter Johns, who's currently in Bali, if you didn't know. Pete Johns just took the week on end and went to Bali. And it's a joke. Auntie G says, I sent our music to loads of radio stations every time and it takes ages. Sometimes it gets played, sometimes not. But then, bam, one day, one of them calls you up and says they want a live interview. That's it. And you know what? You got to just keep knocking on fucking doors. You got to keep knocking. You can't get discouraged. It's really hard, right? Because you're going to get knockbacks. And it's just a sad part of all these industries, right? YouTube, all this stuff, you're going to get knockbacks and you're going to have to learn to take the knockback because it's not a personal slight against you, right? That's the hardest thing because we put so much work into everything we do as creators, no matter what it is, art, music, YouTube, all this kind of stuff. It takes a lot of work and a lot of behind the scenes grinding to get the point to actually send it to somebody. And then you take this beautiful art, this beautiful thing that you've put all your love into, and you fight through the weeds, through the jungle to get to these people to send it to. And then some fuck knuckle goes, nah. And you're like, oh man, it's really hard not to take it personal, but you've got to, because they don't know you for shit. Right? And they have their own quotas and they have their own rules and regulations and stupid things over their head like sponsors and advertisers and stuff that I think you've got to take into account and think about that. And like, I like to do that too. I like to think, wow, that person blew me off. Because they probably had other people above them controlling them and it was out of their power. Most of the time it is out of their power, yeah? The Falcro's in the house, everybody. The Falcro. Pete Johns is up next, by the way. I'll dump you there. It's a premiere, goes for half an hour, and then after that, I'm back here doing another live stream of an app demo. How's this poll going? We've got a poll going. Please interact and let me know, right? What do we got? What would you like to see more of on this channel? Interviews, Walk With Me. Walk With Me's winning. I like you. You're a good crowd. I like to see that because I want to do more Walk With Me. It's just, here's the deal, right? Let's focus on this for a minute after I put up this comment. It helps to sometimes try and take rejection as a creator, artist, musician as a good thing. You don't want everybody to like everything you do. You know what? That is absolutely true because guess what? Not everybody's going to like what you do. They're just not. I don't like fuckloads of things. I'll tell you what I don't do. I don't go to their wherever they are, where their thing is, and I don't go, I don't like you. You fucking... I've got too much time to spend doing the grind and telling the people that I do like how much I like them. Don't waste the energy, right? But there's people out there who seriously... I need to tell that person how much I dislike them. Why? just let them wallow in their own shit. If you think they're shit and you don't like them, let them go over there and be shit. No point. No point. Radio stations here in the US are mostly owned by Clear Channel, so they generally can only play the stuff that big labels want. Yeah, well, PBS is getting stripped way over there in the US. See, we're lucky we still have ABC here. So I was able to get my video on Rage. I can't wait till it's played. I'm going to let you all know because I put a lot of work into it. MJ Capernis is in the house. If I've missed anyone, I'm terrible at this. There he is. There's my great friend from Europe. It's Mateusz Prakowski. He's my dear friend. I love him so much. He's so talented, and he's Polish, and he has a very thick accent, and I love it so very much. He's definitely not British. And have I licked your ass enough today? Thank you. Have I made up for the horrible stuff? That I knew it was you, Rhett. Rhett tries to prank call me every time I go on Laurie's live stream. All right, so, what was I going to say? Oh, I saw some other comments I wanted to talk about. Gary Hub says, I gave up on radio and playlists and streams years ago. Couldn't care anymore. Well, here's the deal, right? I've done shows on this channel talking about getting on the radio, getting on terrestrial radio. there's actually a really big market on terrestrial radio at the moment. And you know, I've been sending me and Liz's stuff to some pretty alternative stuff. And I was actually shocked at how big a market is still going, especially Triple J here and stuff like that. And I'm not talking like your rinky-dink, shitty stations have no one listening. If you're going to go for it, go for the big ones and get rejected by the big ones. Because here's the deal. This is just my opinion. You take it with a grain of salt. You get like accepted on a rinky-dink, tiny little station. It means nothing. Nobody's listening, right? So it's great you got accepted, but nobody's listening to it. So it's kind of pointless. It's better to get rejected by the really big ones. Just go for the big ones. BBC Radio, just go for it. Go for Triple J. Just go for the big ones that you're most likely going to get rejected for. Because getting rejected is a great thing. It puts hairs on your chest, as my nan used to say. It's better to get rejected. Because eventually, it's like these interviews I do here. We had Venus Theory on here. And we got some other big interviews that are going to happen here on the channel too. And you just got to take the chances. I get rejected for interviews all the time. I remember the first big person I reached out to for an interview on this channel, and they said, no, you're too small for me. You're too small. And I was like, I took it really hard. I was like, really? You're not that big yourself. Fucking razzin frazzin. And I thought, why the fuck am I even worried? Like, who cares? Like, there's so many people on this planet. Like, it's just one person. No, I don't do that. I'll tell you my method quickly. This show is about like the grind. I reach out through people I know through the music industry. I don't just reach out to a radio station. I talk to the people I know, the contacts I've made. And then that person puts me in contact with somebody else. Use your contacts. Build a contact list. Over the years of playing music, forget YouTube, I have an incredible list of people that I've recorded with, performed with, been on the radio with. Remember, I've been a journalist for a long time. I was a serious journalist, and, you know, I've done radio myself. And so you keep those people close, like your enemies. And you network through those places to get to somebody who's going to help you get to the right place. Because if you just bomb people with, hey, you don't know me from a bar of shit, a lot of the time they're just going to go, no, I don't buy. So use your networking. So obviously if you've got through to somebody, you've got some kind of airplay, but normally they're bottom feeders as well too. So you want to get to some people in the community. Exactly. Yeah. DIT community will help. We had a great interview about the DIT community. You can go back and watch that too. But going back to the poll, right? Let's talk about this poll for a second, because this ties into like the grind, man. So at the moment, 41% of you are saying you want me to do more Walk With Me. And don't get me wrong, Walk With Me, I love. It's probably my most favorite thing to do here on this channel. Is it good for my channel? Absolutely not. It does nothing in views, because this channel's based on a very niche market of music creation and iOS. So it's like this thing that's stuck there. But there's a reason why it's here. If you are a part of this community, you know why it's there. It's there to help me get out of the house and not just sit here and be stuck doing the grind. But in doing that, it created a whole brand new grind, didn't it? Of like planning places to go, organizing tickets to things, going and making sure the weather's all good, getting all the camera gear ready, heading out for an entire day of shooting, filming, traveling all over the place, spending a lot of money. Walk With Me costs so much money to do. There have been episodes of Walk With Me that have costed over $400, and they've ended up getting like 150 views. But it's my passion. It's one of my passions to go out there and film these beautiful places, take you on journeys. And some episodes I use your music. to back up the stuff. Some of them I make my own music. Some of them is like stock music from YouTube, so I don't get copyright claims. But I have massive plans for Walk With Me. Already, like, we're coming into summer. So the good news is, as the poll says, 41%, and Leela has just sent a Walk With Me funding thingy-majiggy. Walk With Me is coming back. Right? It's very close. The problem is at the moment is weather. We are in spring, and normally here in Australia, the weather is chef's kiss. But no, at the moment, it's not good. Look at the weather forecast for the upcoming week. What have we got? Look at this. 14, 18, 19, 22, 20. It's starting to get better, but look, rain, 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 rain. And Walk With Me in the rain is, I look at those episodes and go, wow, very depressing, because the sky's so bleak. And I've tried to do winter episodes and get out there and be in the rain, and they're fun, but back to back of gloomy weather, it just doesn't look good. You know, you've seen Walk With Me. The skies are blue and crystal clear, and the scenery looks great, and it's so much fun for me to be out in the sun and do all that kind of stuff. And I do have probably about 15 shows lined up, and I have plans to go to Sydney next year and do, because I've got a gig there, and lots of stuff, lots of grindy stuff in the background happening, yeah? So being asked to go to Sydney and perform there, and which gives me a chance to take Walk With Me and go film there as well. So I want to do more Walk With Me. As I said, and trust me, I love the grind. I love the filming. I love the editing. I love all of it. I love going to the places. I love the dumb shit that happens as well. All the random shit that happens going out and filming. The biggest problem is the cost is a lot of money to take out of the small amount that I make on YouTube to live off. So it's that battle. Plus the weather. So I think when we do come back for Walk With Me, we will be out just doing a few things in Melbourne. And then we've got some bigger trips happening. I think we're going to the Murray River. Then we're doing a coastal down at Lorne. So these are 2-day events. I have to go out for 2 days and film this, because you can't go all the way to these places and just in a day and back. These are far away places, because I've covered everywhere in Melbourne, right? And then we want to go to Adelaide and we want to do all this stuff. But again, the logistics are huge, and it's the stuff you guys don't want to hear about. And that's why I'm doing it all here in this show. You don't want to hear about that, about me sweating over the calendar and checking all this stuff out for these shows. It's boring as bat's piss. You don't want to hear about the people who tell me to fuck off and don't film in these shops. It's boring as bat piss. Oh, Walk With Me's gone down since. You want to see more interviews now? Make your minds up. All right, let me do this. So the grind when it comes to, well, you obviously don't know me because I'm trans. But anyway, good luck. But thank you for misgendering. So YouTube, let's talk about YouTube, and let's talk about music and all of the stuff that goes behind the scenes, right? Because we'll start with music, because you know you do all of this stuff, right? The endless cycle, and it is a cycle. I see so many of you release music every freaking week. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you put all these tracks out every week, because it's a huge cycle. First, write a song. To write a song, how hard is it to write a bloody song? Doug Kidder, how hard is it to write a bloody song? Chris Lane Sr., how hard is it to write a bloody song? Right? You got to write it, then you got to sit down and record it. You got to find the time. You got to be in the space. Don't tell me that's not the grind as well. Getting your mindset in the space to actually record a song, to even actually write a song. You've got to be in the space. If you're not in the space, it's not going to work. It's just going to be rubbish, right? It's not going to work. So the grind of getting your mindset into that place is firstly hard, and then finding the time to do it while your mind is ready to do it. These things, and getting harder all the time. You know this. JDL, you're at a point, I remember a few years ago, you're banging tracks out every freaking week. But it's got harder, hasn't it? Because, you know, the world. And all I can say about the world is we've got a clown running the show. And it's affecting everybody, no matter who. No matter where you sit, it's affecting us. Like, things are more expensive, all this stuff that's going on. So you've got all that to take in. Then you've got to like record the song. Then you've got to mix the song. And then you may be doing a collaboration. You've got to deal with that other person too. You've got to, this is the grind. The conversations back and forward to everybody and getting the moments right. Look, think about like Laurie's Mishmosh, trying to line all this stuff up to get a song out because everybody else has got their grinds and their stuff going on and their jobs. You got to deal with the work and the managers and the job and getting the money to do the eating so you don't have to stock up on canned food. You got to mix it, then you got to master it, then you got to question yourself, and then you got to go into self-doubt, and then you got to curl up in a ball in the corner and rock back and forward for 2 hours and go, I'm not a musician, I suck, and everybody hates me. And then you got to get over that grind, and then you got to get back to mixing and mastering. That's just to do a song. Let's not, what about releasing it? Then you got to release it. Then you got to go through all those forms. You got to go and upload over there a Bandcamp and go to forms, find your code, put that in there. Email. I've got to write a fucking bio about myself. I've got to talk about myself. Oh, fucking what do I do? ChatGPT, write about me. Tell me who I am, please. Who am I? You got to do all that stuff, right? And you got to deal with your computer crashing. Which door am I going to use? What app am I going to use? I've got 53 delays. I don't know which delay is the most important. Awesome. But this is the point, right? This is the stuff that nobody wants to see you talk about, do they? This is not glamorous, right? I learnt this because I used to do a lot of shows where I'd show people my whole process of making a song, right? This is my whole process. Watch me make a song. And then I started to realize nobody wants to watch this. You don't get many views because people already know the process. It's arduous, right? It's fun because we love doing it, right? We love doing it. Don't we, E-Urban? You spent 3 hours on a snare. We've all done that, haven't we? We've all done that. We've all sat there. In fact, Rhett does it all the time. 3 hours on the snare. And this is why I try not to do shows anymore showing my process of making music because nobody wants to watch that. I do it on the members stream where I know there's only going to be about 10 people. Right? It's interesting when you first start doing it. But I get dead music. Hello. And happy birthday. Had a birthday recently. This person here, always making music, Yeah. This is the stuff, right? So you don't want to see this stuff. Like, again, I go back to this all the time. You don't want to watch me here on a Monday, or Sunday for you guys, doing my taxes because that's boring. And you don't want to see me going through the pain of like struggling with my inner thoughts of like, should I do this song? Do I suck? All this kind of stuff, right? But then you've got to do artwork. You've got to do thumbnails. You've got to do art for your thing. And then you finish your mix and master and you got to go, oh no, that's not right. Then somebody has a listen to it and goes, maybe you should take the bass down. And then you question yourself again. Nobody wants to see that shit. And that's all for secret. That's all the secret stuff with all your fetishes. I don't want to see that either. So don't tell me any of that stuff either. I'm not interested. You know when I first come out as trans, people thought it was an open invitation to tell me all their inner secrets. Have you ever experienced that? You know when you tell somebody a secret about yourself, you go, hey, I trust you with this thing. I'm going to tell you about it. And you tell them, and then they go, and you think they're going to give you a response and go, oh, wow, I'm still your friend. But instead they go, wow, seems though you told me that, I'm going to tell you that I like to rub cottage cheese on my balls. And you go, ooh, I really didn't need to hear that. I thought this was about me. Right? Again, When you tell people the inner workings. Russ has joined us. Hello, Russ. Where am I going with this? YouTube. So let me just go here for YouTube, right? See, as I said, I spent 4 hours last night setting up all the shows. And it's it's so fucking thankless. But it needs to be absolutely done. It has to be done. Thumbnails. You've got to, and you've got to find, like, here's the thing with the grind. You have to find some kind of pattern, some kind of template, right? You have to do it. If you, after so many years, right, let's just talk about artwork, right? Here's Auntie G. Don't get me started on artwork. I spend hours and hours on alternatives just to go with the first one. So true. Just go with the first one. Don't get bent out of shape over it, really. You know what? Normally the first one is the one. The idea that you have is normally the one that is right because it's the first thing that popped in your head, because it's the thing that you had envisioned for this thing that you were making it. Because you know what? As we're making things, our brain, I don't know if you know this, right? Our brains, you ready? Can multitask. Right? So as you're making your song, you're already thinking about the artwork. Right? It's instinctively happening because you're writing the lyrics, you're doing the things, you're building the world around you. So it's already inside your head. It's actually there. So normally the first thing that you do is the right thing because it's so fresh. And then when you start overthinking it, hey, then all of a sudden you're like, how did I get here? This song's about like tulips. And I've got a picture of a leprechaun sniffing nuts. I'm just using the chat here. On nuts. Go with your gut. Absolutely go with your gut. But nobody, the process is really arduous and tedious, especially if you're changing your mind all the time, It is. But with templates, right, and just even a roadmap. Like last night, I was sitting here planning my week. I opened a notepad and just write down a list of the things I have to do in the next 4 hours. And as I look at that list, I go, fuck. That's probably going to take 5 hours, isn't it? Realistically, it is. And it didn't. It only took 4 hours and 20 minutes. So it was good. But, if I show you, you can see my process here in superimposing. Look at this. This is Thumbnail City. This is just thousands and thousands of thumbnails that I duplicate and repeat and copy and come back and forward and take something from here and put it in there. And I actually do it over 2 different apps. I do it over this one as well, the Studio app. So lots of different templates because everything's all here. The text, you can copy, paste, move it around, do a backup, hold it down, say, yep, duplicate, move on. You got to get into that rhythm or the grind becomes even more painful and you get frustrated and you start to look at the grind as a problem. It's something you don't want to do and you can't, that's the most important thing, right? Obviously doing a live stream or, music, I'm just speaking from my perspective, doing a live stream, this is what it all builds to, doing this moment, talking this nonsense. So all the things that you do up to it, making sure you got templates and you got a plan, right? Even with like setting up your shows, it's very rare that I'll have to set up a whole brand new show from nothing. It's just duplicate the show from yesterday and change some things around. Like you got to try and find the way to cut through the shit as much as possible, but maintain a high standard because that's important. And it's the same with emails. Oh, look, you got to get back to your emails. And again, we'll talk about interviews for a second, It's really disheartening when you send out a group of emails. I'm not going to lie. I'm not lying to you guys. It's disheartening sometimes. More disheartening when you send out a group of emails to people who you'd like to interview and they don't even respond. I'd rather they tell me to fuck off, right? Than just nothing. I swear. It's like getting ghosted. You just go, oh, well. And then you start debating with yourself. Maybe it went to their spam. And I'll tell you what, more times than ever, that's what happened. I Trust me on this, 100%. Because if you're emailing somebody with the words like, would you interview on my show, a lot of the time it's going to go to their spam. It just will. Because a lot of big, especially when you're reaching out to bigger artists, musicians, whoever it is, when they get to a upper echelon, right, they have a lot of spam filters on their email because they don't want to deal with dumb shit. Much more than you and I. Right? So it goes into the spam tin. And trust me, you don't want to fall into this hole and start going, oh, they must dislike me. They must hate me. Another good thing too is when you do get through to someone, like I said, networking, very, very important, right? Some of the ways I've got some bigger artists or people on this show for interviews has been through the bigger ones I got in the past, using those as like, hello, I've interviewed these people, right? Now, don't take this the wrong way, right? This is not a slight, and I'm just using this person as an example. I'm not going to email, say, Neil Finn from Crowded House and say, hello, Neil, I'm really interested in interviewing you on my show. I've interviewed other big artists like Robbie Stingle, right? So don't take that bad. But you get what I'm saying. He's not really a big, well-known, even though he's probably had more views than all of us combined on YouTube, right? Which is true. Millions of views for Robbie Stingle, right? Because people love Robbie. But you're not going to do that. You're going to use your networking, the things that you've done, the successes that you've had to try and get, right? But it's okay. Hey, look, on this one, Dave Bobs, it's okay to try big as well. It's okay to go for somebody really big. Again, they can only say no. And, no to some people means yes. You know who I'm talking about. Well, see, I can say I'm in the process of this particular person, right? And I look, there's lots of people I've hit up to do interviews with, and they've rejected me. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you all about it and cry a fucking river because they're very busy people, and you have to understand that. Can you imagine our little grind in this little niche world of YouTube and the things that we do? They're just a piss in the ocean compared to somebody like a Neil Finn or a huge artist. You think about how much they have on their plate every day. They wake up to a fucking laundry list of shit, appearances, people they have to fucking go and talk to that they don't want to talk to. So there is that indeed. Where are we up to? So look, there's so much, even just YouTube, managing live streams, answering comments, emails, DMs, getting people's songs mastered to them, their codes out to them, algorithms, changes, keeping up to date with what's new, what's going on with YouTube, what are YouTube saying they've changed here and there, making sure that your content continues to be fresh and new and all the time. It doesn't mean you have to do the same thing all the time. You can change things up, move things around, take some risks, do a walk with me here, do this show here. Like, that's how I run this thing anyway. And don't ever take my word on how to run a YouTube channel. I'm the fucking worst at it. Why? Because I just don't listen to these gurus and this wank. I'm not them. I'm me. If you're coming here, you're coming to watch me. I'm not those people. I don't, there's no point me copying their thumbnails. There's no point me saying the shit that they say. I'm not them. And they would probably come to my channel and say, but you're doing it wrong. Am I? It's like this, right? Venus Theory came here and on the channel, interviewed him, and the one thing he said that stood out was how much he loved the community here, the chat. Trust me, folks, go and watch. I say this all the time, right? We have something very special. Go and watch many, many other live streams, right? Sure, the chat is flowing all the time. But I'll tell you what you don't see. You don't see a lot of people saying hello to each other. It's just a lot of people just talking at the person on camera. It really is a lot of that. I was just over at a really cool stream, a talented artist before this stream. She's playing piano, And everybody there is just talking to her. Nobody says hello. Nobody gives a fuck about anybody else there. So again, all this stuff is important. So by the time you get to this point, you can create a community. Yeah? Hello, Tremor Bear. Community is really important, all this stuff. Music creation. How many late nights, thankless late nights do you have sitting there in the dark, putting these songs together? Is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in your soul. Are you somewhere feeling lonely? That song's about sexual assault, by the way, just so you know. Really, it is. You know the other thing that's really important about the behind-the-scenes stuff? Again, let's just take administrative shit and push it over there for a minute. And I talk about this all the time. Pete talks about it. Self-care, right? You got to have the moments where you go do the things that aren't this, the things that aren't music. You got to go do the things. You got to go and take a walk. You got to go and smell the roses. You got to go and play video games. You got to go and watch your favorite documentaries. You got to go and jerk off if that's what you want to do. Go and do it. All the things that help your mind go somewhere else, because you can't invest 24/7 into this, right? You've got to allot time for this to go, do all the things, check off all the boxes of the stuff you need to do to get the stuff done. And if it's too much of that time, cancel it, go do something else and align that time. Time management, very important, right? Your mental health has to be important. It just has to. You have to tell people no. You have to. If you're not right, you've got to tell people no. You've got to take time for yourself. If you don't do that, then you will crash and burn. No matter how hard you go, everybody's going to crash and burn. There is a breaking point for everybody. And the biggest celebrities, even who have huge management teams behind them, still are being pushed around. Maybe they're not sending the emails personally, right? But they've got people telling them where they need to be. You've got to be here at this time. You've got to do this. You've got to say this at this right time. But they themselves need to go, fuck off, leave me alone. I need some time to go out and dance in the grass or whatever it is. You got to do that stuff. And I'll tell you what, a very important thing, you got to keep your feet grounded, right? Especially for the grind, for administrative stuff, for taking time off, and for even doing this. You got to remember why you're doing it. You got to fucking go back. You got to remember those roots. If you don't remember your roots, then you'll lose track of what you're doing. You'll go off, and before long, the thing that you were doing when you first started that you so much enjoyed turns out to be the thing that you hate. And that's happened to me here on this channel. I've started to go down that path of trying to chase views or chase the algorithm. And that's when the grind becomes, I'm not grinding anymore. I'm letting something else grind me. And that's really unhealthy. That's super unhealthy once you start going down that path. So you got to keep sight of what the idea is, what your truth is, who you are, why you started doing this thing, why you want to continue doing it. Very important, these things, as part of the grind. So, in conclusion, I'm sure you don't want to watch me do these shows all the time and talk about this because it is boring, right? It is boring. Every now and again, I'll do a show where I talk about making thumbnails, but it's tied into an app, right? Here's an app that helps do it really well. But I won't sit here and this is just from my experience. I don't want to do any of this stuff where you're seeing behind the scenes or how I make the channel happen because it is just fucking boring. It's all about when the lights go on, the camera, the action, the song and dance. Yeah, and we're off and we're racing. We can have these moments and do a demo or whatever it is. And don't hate the grind. You got to love it. And you know why? You should love it because this is what you want to do. Right? You've got no choice but to love it. What's Gary saying that's wise? I was reading an article that Jack Nicholson wouldn't shoot on Sundays for OFO to con. He needed that one day out of character to be able to come back fresh. Yes, absolutely. This stuff is super, super important. And you got to shut down. You got to shut people out sometimes. You got to tell people no. And sometimes it's really rude and you don't get back to people on the same day. Sometimes you just can't do it. You just don't have the energy. And that's part of the grind too. And you got to realize that you can't. No, this is a me moment. I've got to do this. I have these pressing things to do. I've got to watch the whole season of Dexter. It's very... Oh, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Sorry. Daily. I need more coffee. And I've got to do another stream after this. Oh, that coffee's good. So Pete Johns is up next, and he's going to be talking about mixing music with your AirPods. What kind of silly stuff is that? Who would do that? Yeah, me too. Way too early. But love the grind. That's the point. Love the grind because when you get results, it's great. And oftentimes you're not going to get the results that you want. It just is what it is. Let's speak truth here. We've all done it. We've all released music. We've all put a lot of work into a video and then put it out and gone, really? 20 views? I put everything into that. Everything. But you know what? You didn't put everything into it. You just put a lot into it. And there's things to learn. Maybe you shouldn't, a lot of the time, maybe you shouldn't put that much work into it. Yeah. So yes, YML has changed. Pete's away. Okay. So YML's tomorrow. So today he's got a premiere, a GarageBand Weekly or GarageBand Weekly or GarageBand Weekly. So it's a little half an hour episode. And then I'll be back taking a look at this wonderful delay app. I'll let you know too, we've got a guest coming on this week. I don't have the thumbnail ready because he hasn't got back to me yet. So I made an AI image just for this show. So this week, the Creator Rewind. It's Frank Terzo. He's coming on. Look at him there. He's waving. Look at his eyes. He's coming on. Frank Terzo is going to be here this week. Hopefully we'll have the thumbnail ready by tomorrow. But we've got lots of good stuff coming up. Got stuff getting sent to me by IK Multimedia, these new headphone things and all this fun stuff. So hopefully you can come and join us. But I'll dump you all over at Pete Johns. Hey, thanks for hanging out on the rant. Love the grind. You know what? Because when it's gone, you miss it. You actually do miss it. And it keeps your brain active. And look, we need to keep our brains as active as possible, folks. Don't let AI do everything for you. The bubble's going to burst. Economy's going to crash. Doom and gloom. Donald Trump's going to keep making money. And we're all just going to be eating out of the bin. So love the grind while you've got it. All right. Love you lots. All of you. Do all the things that make you happy and all the stuff. And just love the grind. Do the grind. Grind, baby. Grind. It feels good. Keep grinding. Grind yourself on everything you can. I want you all to go out today and grind on something. Don't do it around a primary school. Let's end the poll. Interviews. You want more interviews? Well, that's a hard ask. But don't be grinding at primary schools. I love you all. Oh, God. How did we get there? All right. Just shut up, Jade. I'll see you back here in half an hour. And let's Oj.
Oh, I put my voice on instead of the music.